The NFL Combine is over, which means more mock drafts for all of us. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing a live 7 round mock draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. What do I mean by live? We will be role playing as the Cincinnati Bengals front office, going through an entire mock draft simulator on PFF. So while we're doing that, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts on our picks and what you want to see the team do at each selection, and hit that subscribe button, tackle that bell, get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, let's pull this up here. So the Bengals are picking 17th overall. Uh, Past couple of picks: Will Johnson to the Dolphins, Kenneth Grant to the Colts, Josh Simmons to my Falcons. That's interesting. Walter Nolan to the Cardinals. That makes sense. And so for me here, it is. I don't think we should do this. I don't think they were going to be doing this because I like Chase Brown in that offense. But I mean, Ashton Genty still being there is kind of intriguing overall. But I do
Yeah,
still think they have other needs: offensive line, defensive line. Definitely secondary is one also. But I don't think
it
there's too many good
looks.
guys.
I don't
Got
see Malachi Starks. He had to have gone.
Malachi
Yeah,
Stark.
he went eighth to the Panthers. I,
Interesting.
I'm really thinking defensive line here. I think James Pierce Jr. would be interesting. I think at the NFL level though, he might need to go to more of like a 3-4 system where he can
That's my
be a
thoughts.
stand-up edge rusher. Michael Williams or Shamar Stewart are where the first thoughts in my mind went. Derek Harmon would be good, I think, on that defensive interior as well,
Yeah.
if you want to go that route. But all in all, like I think you can't go wrong with either of those three guys. Calvin Banks would be interesting if you want to kick him into guard, but they did spend a first round pick last year on the offensive line. I think in the interior, you can get some more valuable picks a little bit later.
Yeah, to me, I'm thinking defensive interior. Sheldon Rankins, they've cut already. BJ Hill is a free agent also, so are they going to
Okay.
re-sign him? Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson, their second and third round pick from last year, are the only defensive tackles actually that are on the roster as of right now. So
Okay.
that's kind of where I'm leaning, and I
Let's
think we can
do
definitely get edge rusher later on.
let's snag Derek Harmon. I think that's a
I
good
like that
fit
pick. Yeah,
for that
I think that's
system.
good.
And he had more pressures than any interior defensive lineman than
I think
anyone this past season.
I think
So
43, I believe.
yeah, like he had a ridiculous amount of pressures.
Yeah,
So and also too, like you can get an interior offensive lineman here. Look, JT Tuimoloau is here. If that's the edge rusher that suits your fancy there, I actually think that would be a pretty good pick. Um,
shoot, now this is going to be a spot you're going to have Tyler Booker that's available. I will say I don't think Tyler Booker is going to be available at 49, but you are
yeah,
if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to have Donovan Jackson. I think that could be keep him in Ohio. That's a guy that I actually, I like that spot. Either he was
yeah,
more left guard.
that's fine. I think he can really fill anywhere. He showed his versatility this past season. I think he can
Yeah,
really fill in anywhere on that offensive line. So let's snag Donovan Jackson here
I like that.
for this Bengals team. And then next, I do think edge rusher might be uh, a good fit here. Also, corner, see kind of who falls to them here at this point. So I do not think Mason Taylor is going to be here. Joshua Farmer, if we didn't already get Derek Harmon, would be interesting. Who else?
Mike Milam, Lathan Ransom. Edge rusher's looking kind of slim as of right now.
Yeah. The one Kyman Rucker, I think, would be really interesting. He's about 6'2", 265. Yeah. And so I think that would be really interesting. He had some injury problems this past season. But with that being said, you can see his pass rush statistics there. And I think he's a better run defender
Pretty
than what
good.
PFF gives him credit for. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be an awful pick there. If you want to add some speed, I actually kind of like Isaiah Bond in that system as well. We can look at receivers here.
My
Uh,
I I almost wonder. Alright, so they have Andre Yoshavas, they have Charlie Jones, Jermaine Burton, so they're actually, I think,
yeah, that's fair.
youth-wise, I think they're good on receiver. I mean, they're gonna have so much
Yeah,
money, whatever they end up signing T. Higgins for,
30 million.
yeah, because they've already franchise tagged him, so this is a unique spot. I would definitely prefer edge rusher here. You can maybe double dip on defensive interior. You could get tight end as well. Um, I think you already mentioned that with Mason Taylor. Gunnar Helm, I
Yeah.
think, could be an interesting guy here if they wanna go that
Mhm.
route.
Terrence Ferguson, I think he just went, to the Patriots. a little bit earlier. Um,
Do-do-do-do-do.
Lathan Ransom would be interesting. He can kind of be that Von Bell strong safety replacement.
Yeah, they have Jordan Battle already, but
Yeah,
Von Bell's
that's
a
fair.
free agent. They can let him go. They just have other guys here. I'm not really like well, it's like I don't love any picks, but don't hate any of the picks. Like I think they can go in
Yeah.
honestly any direction that they would want
You
to
We
go
haven't
to
really done
regular.
Kyman Rucker yet. You wanna do him?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's mix
Get
that
the
up
edge
here.
rusher to go across from Trey
Yeah.
Hendrickson. So double dipped on that defensive line,
Well,
and
and that's what
then
they
got
would
Donovan
do.
Jackson.
They
Yeah,
would do that.
yeah,
Or they could do that is the better way to say it, to phrase that.
yeah. Now, I know this is a very popular corner spot, for us. You have Mello Dotson, Noel Williams left. You could go get another guard, Willie Lampkin. Um, Jonas Sanker, where did he play most of his? He played most of his in the box or deep. How big is he? 6'1", 210. So not quite the um Jesse Bates guy that they would be looking for
Well,
on that defense.
so it's just interesting because we haven't gone secondary, right? I know we were talking about that. They've invested. So I mean, Cam Taylor Britt was 22, so he's coming up on his last year of his rookie contract. DJ Turner also they invested there. Jordan Battle in 23, 22. Dax Hill as well. Even Josh Newton last year. So they have a young secondary. Even Tyson Anderson is currently their backup free safety. So it's interesting how they're going to go about that. Like, do they trust the development of those guys, or maybe do they need some help in the front seven to help out their young guys here? And so, like, that's why I say, like, just looking at that, like, could they improve in secondary? Absolutely. But at this point, though, I'd almost wonder if you'd be kind of wasting a roster spot instead of trying to
Yeah.
maybe get like backup linebacker here with like Barrett Carter or Jack Kaiser or
Or
something like that.
if Mike Gesicki doesn't return, you could get a Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
Uh yeah. Let's do Barrett Carter. That's a name we haven't done. He's a really good linebacker
What
from Clemson.
Yeah, and I also think too as well, they have several guys that are free agents that are backup linebackers. So get a younger guy as well to go and develop, get behind Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson. And I think a
Okay.
tight end spot would be a good one, depending on who's available here for their next
Yeah.
pick. But they haven't really utilized well, no, utilize isn't the right word because Mike Gesicki was that I could remember the first one.
Jake Brenningstool literally just went 2 picks before.
That would have been perfect. I guess Hayden Hurst was also there too.
Yeah.
It's tight end hasn't always been top priority, it felt like, for
No.
this
Well,
Bengals
when
team.
you have
You
2
have Jamar
receivers that are
Chase.
about to sign $30 million contracts,
Yeah.
it's kinda hard for tight ends to really find a spot.
No, I'm with you there. That makes sense. So, who are some of the top guys now here? Jackson Dart, pass. This could be where you'd wanna get a running back here. I mean, I think they're probably gonna
Yeah.
cut Zach Moss. Khalil Herbert's free agent, and they traded for Travion Williams as a free agent. I think this would be a spot if you want to get a compliment with Chase Brown, who is going to be your primary three. He can be your three down guy. But if there's a guy here that might be more of a thicker guy, a bowling
I
ball type
I was just
guy,
about to say Khalil Mullings, I think, is a thicker guy.
I
Ollie
think
Gordon is still on the board.
that would be a great compliment. I think
Okay.
to Chase Brown
Let
because Chase Brown, according to PFF, as of right now, is 5'9", 215. And then he's 6'2", 230.
Yeah, let's
So,
do that. I
yeah,
like that fit.
I like that. Really help out on the goal line because that was something I feel the Bengals struggled with was when they got into goal line situations. Was converting those
Yeah.
or short down situations, like really being able to lean on the run. Now, some of that can be offensive line, but I think also just getting a bigger guy would be
Yeah.
great.
No, and I agree with that. So here with their last pick, do you wanna spend another pick on the interior or, have we done
So I think that would be worth it because they just
okay.
released Alex Kappa. They have Ted Karras as their starting center. Um, who was the other interior guy that we got earlier?
Um, Donovan
Was
Jackson.
Donovan Jackson. So he's going to come in and he's probably going to start. But I think still to have a good backup there on the
Let's
defensive side.
get Clay Webb. Well, although are they gonna be looking for more of a center or more of a guard, do you feel? I feel like Clay Webb could do either.
I
He
I
played
think just I think just interior.
okay.
Yeah, I think just something interior.
Let's snag Clay Webb. He's a little undersized. I think he could potentially play center or put on some weight and play guard. But he's a really good athlete. He was a highly recruited guy out of high school, but then eventually, I believe, due to off the field issues, went to Jackson State. I could be wrong on that. But
Jacksonville State, just to clarify.
oh yeah, Jacksonville State, not Jackson State. Uh, Jacksonville State. And so I feel like that could be some really good value there to get a really highly recruited prospect coming out of high school. So as this kind of winds down here, we'll do a quick recap. I mean, all in all, I really think what the Bengals are trying to do is strengthen up in the trenches. One of the worst rushing defenses in the league this past year. One of the worst offensive lines in the league this past year. Amarius Mims and Orlando Brown Jr. were a good tackle tandem, but that interior really struggled at times. And so I think you go get Donovan Jackson, Clay Webb to help solidify that. On the offensive side, I think is really solid. And then Derek Harmon and Kyman Rucker on the other side of the ball, I think is a really good fit there. You get Barrett Carter and Cleo Mullings to kind of support the efforts there. But all in all, I think that this draft is really going to be focused around the trenches.
Yeah. No, I would love to have them focus, get another edge out there because you're kind of hoping that Rucker is the guy. But because it is possible they might be moving on from Sam Hubbard just to cut and just to create some free agency, or maybe they can restructure his deal. But guys like Joseph Asai's free agent as well. They did draft Miles Murphy with the first round pick in 2023. So like maybe he can step up and be that guy. Maybe he's just looking for a new defensive coordinator. So it's just you're trying to spread the wealth a little bit, so then you're not relying on Trey Hendrickson to have to be the sack leader just to kind of be somewhat relevant in
Yeah,
the overall sack department. So, like the Bengals, for example, defensively, they had 36 sacks on the season, 25th overall in sacks, and one guy had half of the all those sacks. So just imagine
that's
like if
crazy.
there could be another guy that could just be a little bit more consistent, if they could have a couple guys have 4 or 5 sacks, and because Trey Hendrickson's, it's going to be tough for him to do 17 and a half again,
Yeah,
which is an amazing feat.
especially
So
too. He's 32, 31 or
it'll be
32 now.
32, I believe, at the start of next season.
Yeah. So I think like not that he's in the decline of his career because the dude he just led the league in sacks, but like he's getting older. It's not a Myles Garrett at 26 winning defensive player of the year. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I do think that they're going to have to start finding some sacks elsewhere. But I think Kyman Rucker can potentially come in and do that. Derek Harmon is going to come in and help with pressures as well. With that being said, let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of this Bengals 7-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.